Whoa, it's the summer of video game showcases. It's actually winter where I live, it's quite freezing, but we'll go with summer, that's the case for much of the world, and it's the time to get excited, right? We're gonna get all these presentations, these shows, there'll be titles announced, there'll be unveilings of maybe games we got cinematic cutscenes of 5 years ago, they're finally ready to show gameplay. It's all happening. That at least seems to be the cycle every year, whether it's Xbox, Sony, or someone else doing a presentation, talking about announcing games. It all sounds really fantastic. There's all these theories, predictions, but usually after the show, just about everyone feels pretty disappointed, and there's a feeling of, was that it? Now, mainstream gaming media, for instance, maybe the game companies, they usually have the attitude of, oh, gamers are entitled, the audience expects things that just aren't possible, but I don't really know about that. I feel like genuinely 10, 15 years ago, whether it was an E3 or something similar, presentations announcing games genuinely was more exciting. It felt like games were getting announced more often, and there were more genuine surprises, titles that you were not aware of that caught you off guard, and then you had something to really get pumped about. That doesn't happen so much anymore. I feel like the real reason is that games just take way too long to make. If a studio is taking 5, 6 years to create something, the chance of that not leaking well in advance of any official announcement feels nigh on impossible. I mean, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, we kind of expected it. That was probably a good example of one that was genuinely kept under wraps, and we'll talk about that because we will jump into some rumors of what's going to get announced in upcoming showcases over the next few days. We'll speak about that, but Kingdom Come True, that was one that I felt like a bit of a surprise, even if it was probably expected. So that was nice, but most of the time, it's all just very predictable. We get a showcase and it's like, yeah, we kind of knew about all this stuff already. I'm not that thrilled. And again, the whole problem is games just taking way too long, and that problem affects just about everything. Most of us, we feel like $60, $70 for a game these days is too much. The companies think otherwise. They think, if anything, that's too cheap. But it all is because you're taking 6 years to make a product. If instead a game was taking 18 months to make and you priced that at $40, $50, and it was genuinely a good title, you'd make a lot more money doing that every 18 months in these 6-year-long dev cycles. And they might argue, oh, well, no, because it's going to take 6 years to make it good. That's the whole problem. I don't agree. It might take 6 years to have these outstanding visuals where the character's facial animation, someone's had to sit in a chair for 10 hours while you scan their face. Your team's flown to Europe for 3 months to take pictures of rocks and mountains to make sure when they go into the game, they're exact replicas. It feels like a lot of that crap is going on in that 6-year dev cycle. You're not spending that time crafting the best possible gameplay experience. And if you don't believe me, just go back 15, 20, 25 years ago. Games were made at a much quicker pace with smaller teams. Now, is the presentation of those games incredible? Maybe not, but I feel like there's a compromise there where most people will start to accept maybe worse visuals if they realize they're getting better games in quicker time. And it's up to the marketing teams of these companies to show people that games are great, even if the visuals aren't always innovative. Maybe there's some nuance to all that, but it's not really my problem. Game companies are running into trouble financially. The only answer I see is quicker dev cycles, and that will help these showcases because we've got, for instance, the Xbox showcase, and according to leaker Jeff Grubb, the showcase will be 2 hours long with 30 games, and maybe there'll be some good stuff in there, but let's be honest, afterwards some people will be disappointed. And the whole reason for that is because a lot of these games have taken Microsoft like 6, 7, 8 years. You think of Perfect Dark, which might be shown. That's had development hell, all these problems. How hard is it to make a first-person shooter campaign? That shouldn't take 8 years. What is going on? But rather than go over every maybe prediction I have or things that have already been formally announced, I just want to speak about some very recent rumors surrounding these showcases, things that we're very likely to see, but we haven't had an official announcement for. And the first game I will talk about, this one obviously has been formally announced, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, it's probably my most anticipated game for the rest of the year. As I said, a nice surprise. I kind of knew it was being made, but I had no idea it was coming out this year until they officially put the word out there. So it's incredibly exciting. It's looking good from the initial trailer, but I'm looking forward to seeing just real consistent gameplay, like 10-15 minutes uninterrupted. I love to see that. It's the best indication of how does this game play. I get to see it without marketing tricks and jump cuts every 5 seconds where you don't really know if the game's in a great state or not. Just seeing maybe out in the open world some real gameplay will be really nice. We know that there's going to be a trailer at the Summer Game Fest, so that's in the next couple of days. I'm hoping it's just a really focused gameplay trailer. That will absolutely be best. Now, Dragon Age Dreadwolf, I spoke about this just the other day. It's not really a game I'm excited for. I think BioWare are on their lowest ebb. I think they're one failure away from getting shut down. I think this is probably it. I don't think that this game will succeed, and it will be the end of BioWare, most likely, unless they're just rolled into supporting live services from other teams. Maybe that sounds really pessimistic, but it's not out of nowhere. We had Mass Effect Andromeda. It was a game, at that time, I was probably a bit more naive with the game industry. I thought, this is going to be great. I'm sure BioWare are going to deliver. They didn't. Anthem, of course, which was worse than anything you could have ever possibly imagined. Now we're here with Dragon Age Dreadwolf. I think for some people, so much time has passed, they've kind of forgotten about all of the flops. But this is not a team that has produced anything of quality in like 15 years. So to expect this to be good, I think you're kidding yourself. Maybe they'll surprise us. But the rumor here is, again, Jeff Grubb says that Dragon Age Dreadwolf won't be at the Microsoft show, but Dragon Age will be. And this confused people because there's been so many rumors suggesting Dreadwolf is going to get the big gameplay reveal. Even BioWare themselves said summer this year they're going to unveil the game. So it's like, what's going on? Is it in development hell or is something else going on? Well, I think the way this person worded this was probably to cause a lot of discussion and attention. But what it's sounding like is when he actually clarified, because some people were going, okay, so it's something Dragon Age related, but it's not Dreadwolf. Could it be a remake of Origins, a remaster collection of all the games or something? But Jeff Grubb says, no, it's not a Dragon Age 1 remake. It's just not Dreadwolf. And he says that with quotation marks. And that's got most people predicting that they've actually just changed the name. It's no longer going to be called Dragon Age Dreadwolf. It may just be Dragon Age 4. The worst example people could think of was they're rebooting everything and it's literally just going to be called Dragon Age and they're like going to be starting again. That would be a bit silly given the story of this game. It's obviously a continuation. I think it makes sense that they may call it Dragon Age 4. And the big reason for that would be the whole Dragon Age Dreadwolf setup relies on you having played a DLC for Dragon Age Inquisition, the third title in the series. Now, many people played Dragon Age Inquisition, probably got bored and hopped off because it just felt like an MMO. There was a lot of pointless busy work, extended the playtime. A lot of people probably just got sick of it and didn't finish it, let alone purchasing a DLC that came afterwards, going through all of that as well, just so they understand the story, just so that Dragon Age Dreadwolf makes sense. Talking about it, it sounds convoluted, it sounds stupid. So it actually does make a bit of sense that they are going to drop the whole Dreadwolf title, just call it Dragon Age 4. Probably they've reshaped the story a little bit so it makes more sense to newcomers, and that's going to be the whole sell it. You can jump onto Dragon Age 4 without any prior knowledge. We've done a name change, we've done a revamp, and that'll be it. And then on Steam, you'll probably see very soon that they've renamed it to Dragon Age 4. That's what I'm expecting. There was also a rumor not too long ago that 2K, the publisher, were planning to reveal the next iteration in one of their biggest and most beloved franchises. There was some speculation around that. The biggest names people could think of, BioShock, maybe a Mafia 4, and then some other stuff like Civilization, the strategy game series, and Borderlands. Now, I was really hoping it wouldn't just be something as predictable and as boring as Borderlands 4, because it's one of those games you know you're getting at some point. Gearbox, the developer, they seem to just be a Borderlands factory now. They're either making the mainline series Borderlands or they're doing a live service spin-off. What was it? The teeny tiny Wonderworld or some crap I wasn't interested in. I think that was a Borderlands spin-off. There was the New Tales from the Borderlands, which is like an adventure game. The Telltale company who did all those adventure games, The Walking Dead, they did one. Now Gearbox are making them. So everything they do is literally Borderlands related. You couldn't get more boring. But it seems to be confirmed that Borderlands 4 is going to be the big new 2K game. So that may mean, unfortunately, no Bioshock, no Mafia. If you're interested in that, it's probably just Borderlands. And this post reads, it has been discovered via Xputer's contacts, I assume that's a leaker, that 2K will offer Borderlands 4's first ever reveal at the upcoming Summer Game Fest on June 7th. There is also a chance that the game gets formally announced before the event, followed by a better show of it during the showcase, but I cannot confirm that at this point. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really care about this. I didn't even play Borderlands 3. I played the older ones, I had an okay time with them. They felt a little bit, it's sort of that modern game design feel of you're just chasing dopamine hits around the map. You're not really enjoying the content that you're doing. It's just chasing gear and killing enemies, nothing more to it. I get that some people really like that, and that's fine. Maybe it's not for me all of the time. But I mean, just more of the same. You know, realistically, that's what this is going to be. I know for Gearbox, it's like their only commercially viable franchise. They tried to do Battleborn, which was a live service, which totally flopped. Everyone's forgotten it. But it seems they had one failure, and they just gave up on trying to do anything original. They used to make some good titles. They did like Half-Life expansions to the original Half-Life. Some great campaigns. There was the Brothers in Arms series that they did as well. Just some different stuff that felt pretty decent. They don't really do that anymore. The main reason I'm mentioning this is if you're excited for Bioshock, I can't see it happening. I think the only thing that 2K is going to show is going to be Borderlands, unfortunately. Maybe for some that's good news, but whatever. There was also this, so Starfield fans, get excited. I know you're out there, because Jeff Keighley posted an interesting image from his Xbox. And what it says is Starfield add-on available now. Does that mean that they will shadow drop some new unannounced DLC? This will probably happen at the Summer Games Fest, given that's the show that Jeff Keighley runs. And just this image, Starfield add-ons, apparently it doesn't exist anywhere at the moment. If you go on your Xbox or on PC, Starfield add-ons is not something that you can click on. So it seems to be brand new, something that might go live after one of these shows. So what could this be? I mean, there are some copers suggesting, oh my god, this is it, Shattered Space, it's going to be shadow dropped. Bethesda was surprising us all this time. They had incredible content ready to go and we're going to get it. I don't think so. That's probably going to take a while. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets delayed until next year, given how slow they seem to move these days. Realistically, it's probably something to do with mods. Maybe the creation kit will go live on PC, and then on console, of course, you'll have to buy mods, paid mods via Creation Club. I mean, PC has it as well, but at least there's the option of bypassing it and just getting free ones, which is how it should be. So to me, not really exciting, because I don't think most modders give a toss about Starfield. They're probably working on Skyrim, Fallout 4 mods, or they've moved on to brand new games. I really don't think too many modders are going to be wasting their free time polishing a turd in Starfield, because I always hear that, oh, the modders are going to save it, they're going to fix all of Bethesda's problems. As incompetent as Bethesda are, I really think if there was a quick win, a way to undo all of the problems, they would have taken that option. You can't undo a million loading screens. You can't fix space overnight. All those issues are baked in. It's just what Starfield is. There's absolutely no fixing it. I mean, even if there's some great quality of life mods, it's like, well, the overall game still sucks. What's the point? If a modder is talented enough to build like an original quest line or create a new planet, they might as well just put that content in Skyrim or in some other game. They might as well put their work there, because Starfield doesn't have any players anymore. You'd be wasting your time. You could put brand new original content that you want to make in another game. It doesn't have to go in Starfield. So if people are asleep thinking about this game, I don't think whatever this potential add-on is, DLC, is going to be waking too many people up. But the last thing I want to talk about is just Capcom. So Capcom are one of the few developers, I feel, these days who are actually releasing games relatively frequently. They do a decent job of, say, Resident Evil every year without it feeling massively stale. They had a miss or two with, like, the Resident Evil 3 remake, which I thought was a bit disappointing. Most of the others have been pretty decent. So they're going to be making an appearance at Summer Game Fest, and apparently they've been sending out invitation cards for it. The last time they did that was for the Mega Man 30th anniversary stream. So we got some people thinking, oh, what could they be announcing? Could it be a new Mega Man game? Well, the tweeter I'm reading this from, it's actually a Mega Man fan account. I think they're probably coping if they think there's going to be Mega Man news. A lot of these companies, Capcom, Square Enix, they've made it clear, at least for the moment, they're mainly focused on their big IPs, which means the Mega Mans of the world. Unfortunately, they get sort of shafted. I actually like Mega Man. I don't think we're going to get a new one. But it could be that we get something else. Maybe there's a Resident Evil announcement. It's probably about the right time. They've wrapped up the Resident Evil 4 DLC. Maybe they're going to unveil Resident Evil 9. It could be a Code Veronica remake, Resident Evil 5. It's probably about time for them to start talking about the next one. Whether it's here or whether it's a few months away at another Sony show or something, we'll have to see. But the only thing I will say is Jeff Keighley, he's normally known for hyping up shows and trying to get everyone excited, the Game Awards, whatever it is. He actually said don't expect too many announcements at the Summer Game Fest show. It's mainly a place now for showing off existing games that we're already aware of and just showing more gameplay. So it's kind of weird to see someone like that, purely a marketing kind of person, basically de-hype their own show. Pretty rare it happens, but it should tell you one thing. If you are worried about these shows being a big disappointment and we're going to watch and think, Jesus Christ, is there any more? Is that really it? That probably is going to be the feeling after a lot of this. Some people are suggesting that Xbox showcase could be exciting. There could be lots of stuff. I don't know. There's been many times where they've shown games, they end up in development hell and we never actually get them. Maybe we'll see Avowed, maybe we'll see Clockwork Revolution, that's another RPG. I'd like to see more RPGs, but being honest, the AAA space, a bit of a shit show at the moment. Most of the good stuff is probably going to come from indies that we don't see here outside of something like a Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So we'll see how all this goes. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.